UFC Fight Night 22 November just ended. I'm going to give you the recap of the predictions I made coming into this event. So first of all, for the co-main, Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Garry, I predicted that Belal would win, maybe third, fourth round, or just in general via decision due to control time if he took him down. But that was only on the condition that the fight went to the ground. I foresaw Belal winning. And if the fight remained on the feet, then Ian would effortlessly win. So it was a toss-up between a 50-50 prediction on whether the fight would remain on the ground or stay on the feet. And yeah, the fight stayed on the feet. Ian won. There was two controversial eye pokes that happened where Belal took some damage, did get the recovery time, so that was okay. And he ventured on. He tried to take Ian down a couple times, but Ian just stood up. So Ian's takedown defense has really improved, and it shows that he's probably one of the best in the game at his takedown defense. All the years running, we always congratulated Israel Adesanya on his takedown defense because it was always top tier. But when Dricus took him down, it was like, okay, so we see some cracks in his shell. But on the welterweight division, it looks like Ian Machado Garry's takedown defense is top tier. So well done to Ian Machado Garry. And for the main event, Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. This is an exciting event going into it. For the press conference, we had that headbutt from Arman against Dan Hooker. That was causing some appeal to the fight, garnering more views. So I think Arman purely did that to just promote the event more to a greater extent, get more eyes on it, and increase pay-per-view sales. So for the actual fight though, Dan Hooker put up a good fight. Just Arman took him down round one, kept him there. Dan really didn't do much damage to Arman. Arman landed quite a few blows on Dan. You could really see a hematoma appearing on his left brow, I think. Yeah, top of his left brow. And so Dan was taking quite a lot of damage. And Arman looked like he was just sailing a boat in the ocean on still waters. So when it came to the second round, Arman took him down, tried to look for a choke. And a couple of times when Arman initiated the takedown, Dan Hooker tried to initiate a guillotine choke. Same thing that Dricus did against Khamzat, only it just didn't work. And in this case, it also didn't work. Arman nicely rolled out of it very well. And Dan Hooker attempted that every single time he got up or Arman tried to initiate a takedown. Dan would initiate this guillotine choke, but Arman would always just expertly roll out of it. So when it came to the second round, about 3 minutes in, Arman took him down. Dan tried to get another guillotine choke, but Arman rolled out of it. Proceeded to top mount, got him in nice side control, moved around, and then got a nice choke with pinning his arm against his head. Call that an arm lock. And about 10 seconds in, he just got tight, and then Dan Hooker tapped. So for my prediction for the main event, it was accurate. Arman did win. It was a toss-up between whether Dan Hooker's takedown defense would have been on the same tier as Ian's, because if it was, I think Dan would have won, because his stand-up was a bit better than Arman's. But Arman's wrestling, I don't think you can really count him out in the wrestling department, because his wrestling has really improved. He did have Khamzat in his corner. I saw Khamzat appear, which was very weird, because recent news did break that Khamzat had suffered an injury his fight will be postponed until May 2026. Apparently it was a foot injury, he said. But if he has a foot injury, why is he doing in Qatar with Arman? Shouldn't he be recovering at home? I don't know. But it seems that it was maybe false news. But it was good seeing Khamzat there. He looks healthy. And him coaching Arman, or even in his camp sparring with him as a sparring partner, really did reinforce Arman's resilience in his takedowns. And that really did secure him the victory. If I had prior knowledge of Khamzat being in Arman's corner, then my prediction on Arman winning by 50% would have really been boosted by like maybe 70 or 85%. But regardless, that was a correct prediction. And overall, the event was quite good. We did have a lot of submissions, first round knockouts in the preliminary card, also main card. And it was overall a exciting match. The next UFC event will be UFC 323, happening on the 7th of December. And that's going to be another double title on the line. So we have, for the co-main, Alexandre Pantoja defending his flyweight title against Joshua Van. And for the main event, we have Merab Dvalishvili defending his bantamweight title against Petr Yan. And no one's a stranger to Merab fighting so often in a year. He's trying to break the record. Previously, the record was 3 title defenses in a year. I don't know who had it last or who currently holds it. But Merab's trying to break it with his 4th title defense. He's already fought 3 times in 2025. He wants to get a 4th one. So that's purely why he's fighting, because if you remember, Merab just fought recently in October, September. So he's really trying to push. So I'll make a later video detailing my predictions there, because it's going to be quite a stacked card. I mean, we have Brandon Moreno against Tatsuro Taia. We have Henry Cejudo against Peyton Talbot. Henry, almost the 3-division champ, but not quite there. I think he should retire. He's definitely out of his prime. I don't know why he's still hanging on. Maybe because of the contract he has with the UFC. But anyway, we also have Jan Blachowicz against Bogdan Guskov. The preliminary card is also quite stacked. Terrence McKinney against Chris Duncan. And also Grant Dawson against Manuel Torres. You know what? The early prelims also quite stacked as well. We have Marvin Vettori coming back. Oh, nice Marvin Vettori. I really wanted him to win in his previous fight because it was following the loss. I think his brother died in a fire. So I wanted him to win, get some bonus, maybe for a performance bonus of the night to get a nice 50k. But it was not to happen. But I hope he wins his next fight against Bruno Ferreira on the 7th of December. I'm also wondering, when is Daniil Donchenko going to fight again? Because he did win in conjunction with what's his name? Joseph Morales, I think. They both won the UFC Ultimate Fighter series. So Joseph Morales already got another victory. But Daniil still has to fight, and I don't see him. Well, he's not fighting on this card, or he's not fighting. When I say this card, I mean December the 7th. So he's not fighting then, and he's definitely not fighting at the end of the year, because I think there's only one more event after UFC 323, and that's the UFC Fight Night Royval versus Cape, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Brandon Royval versus Emmanuel Cape. He's not on that card either. So I think his next fight's going to be somewhere in 2026. Alright, that's my prediction video. And I'll release the UFC 323 prediction video later this week.